Okay guys, so what I want to show you very briefly is what are the difference between regular and irregular polygons. Most adults day to day, they don't go walking around saying like, oh my God, that is such a regular pentagon. Oh my God, no, it isn't. It's so irregular. That's not a conversation that almost ever happens. However, what is important is what we're going to see eventually is when we go to measure things. So when we measure, let's say, for example, the floor in our house, because maybe we want to put down new tile or carpet, or we have to figure out how much paint we are assuming that all of the sides are equal. If we are doing, like, let's say, a triangle or a square or even a pentagon, there are certain measurements we can make if we assume that all of the sides and the angles are the same. So although we don't necessarily outwardly call them regular shapes and regular polygons, we do a lot of math that assumes that they're regular. So anyways, it's important to know the difference, even though we don't always vocalize the difference. So with a regular polygon, it has to have all sides are equal and all angles are equal. So what that means, let me just grab my little marker here. Let's say, for example, if they're a triangle, a side is, this is the part, oh, it's kind of hard to see here. This is the side, the part that goes up and down, the part that makes up the shape, that is the side, okay? And so for something to be regular, the sides all have to be the exact same length. When they're talking about angles, this is kind of tricky. What that means is that inside the shape, if I took a little protractor and I measured, then the difference between here and here, that creates an angle. So that means that this angle here is going to be the exact same as this angle here, which is going to be the exact same as this angle down here. Now, if we look over here at this irregular triangle, this, kind of hard to see around my phone here, here we are. The angle that is right here is going to be a little bit, you can see it's squishier, right? Than the angle that is right here. This looks a little bit more open, right? Like if you were like imagining a door opening, this door would be wider than this door here. Well, not wider, but the opening of the door, okay? So as we can tell here, even just by looking, this angle is not the same as this angle. We can also tell that this line is much longer than this line, and that's what makes it irregular. Now, as a result, if I needed to do some quick measurements, let's say I'm laying down carpet or picking out tile, it would be a lot easier to do my measurements if it were a regular polygon instead of an irregular polygon. Same thing with squares and pentagons and any other shape is that we have, for example, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and it is a regular shape. We know this as a square, even though it's called a quadrilateral. We know it's called a square. Over here we still have four. We still have 4 sides. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. But as you can see, the angle here is a squishier angle than the angle here. Same here with the pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've tried to draw this as clearly as I can, but in theory the angles are roughly the same. But over here, this shape has 5 sides, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But as you can see, this angle is not quite the same amount of opening as this angle up in here. So that is really all we're looking at when we're looking at what is the difference between regular and irregular polygons.